We met in 10th grade at Appling High School out in East Macon. She thought I was looking at her. She asked me, what was I looking at? Now, I wasn't looking at her. That was in probably August or September. October that same year at a Halloween party. She was there and I came in and...
Anyway, we had a joint party. Okay, go ahead, finish now.
Like I said, at the party, she was supposed to be talking to me for another girl. I wasn't interested in another girl. I guess I danced all of the slow dances here because she didn't dance fast. And we ended up, I guess liking each other, and we started talking on the phone.
He was begging for pennies and dimes from everybody to try to get up enough money to go. So he just gave up on it.
I didn't quite have enough money. So I stayed at the party and we danced the night away.
And I had a number in my pocket to give him from this other girl. At the last dance, he asked me for my phone number. I had my hand on the phone number in my pocketbook. But after he asked me for my phone number, I just put it back in my pocketbook. And then we started talking on the phone. He asked me, could he come to see me that Sunday night? And I told him, yeah, come on. So that was in 1958, to be exact.
Basically on Sunday I would go to the house. I could come at 8 and had to be gone by 10. And if I was not on the way out, her daddy would want to know why I was still there. He asked me, don't you think it's about time for you to get up to that bus stop? And I didn't know what that meant, so I just left. But we dated all through high school.
That was the first time I ever had anybody take me to a movie, to a party. We became engaged when we were 16. I don't know why so early, but we did. And of course, everybody was telling us that we were too young.
She said we were engaged. I don't know whether we were engaged or not. We stayed. We were steady for a long time. I mean, all through high school. In spite of the fact that we had a rough beginning.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. And
you were a bully.
I did tell
He told his cousin to come and get me because I was talking ugly to him. I told him, I said, Doctor, you on my turf now, come on.
I did tell her I was going to get my cousin to beat her. Because she talked ugly. I mean, some real ugly cussing.
And she had the nerve to come away and say something to me. And I sent her back where she came.
Yeah. That was that.
That was that.
Love and happiness, yeah, something that can make you do wrong, make you do right, yeah, love. Love and happiness. But wait a minute.
Initially, we got married young. We were 20 years old.
We didn't have a wedding. We got married in the pastor's study in Brooklyn, New York. So, 10 years ago, the children gave us a wedding. That was our wedding. And
our 40th anniversary. us a wedding. White dress, tuxedos, and
It was beautiful.
a whole ball of wax.
And we spent our honeymoon in New Orleans for a whole week.
Glad they all had jobs. They could afford to do that. We got married in New York. Then the first child was born in New York. And I was in school in Baltimore. Then she came back to Macon, and I stayed in school. And the separation was a challenge. But after each school year that I went home, it seemed like nine months later, my baby came.
Well,
Dawn, then 2 years later, Lance Jeffrey, and 2 years later, Allison. Then there was a space of 4 years, then Nikki, and then we got Shirley. But it was challenging for us at that young age to have that many children.
the most challenging part of our marriage, as I'm concerned, was in Atlanta. It was just, we had very little. And when we first moved there, we didn't have bed, we didn't have any furniture. To me, that was a challenge because, I mean, he would come in from in the evening, he didn't know what we were going to have for dinner. He would come in and say, where did you get these salmons from? I didn't know we had salmon on the shelf. He didn't know that, he was eating tuna fish. But I had made croquettes out of it and fried them, and they were delicious, and everybody thought that the kids thought they were. And spaghetti, I could make spaghetti the last 2 or 3 days. We did pretty good.
So I worked, she took care of the house and the children, and I went on through law school. And when I graduated, we had 3 children.
When I first met Billy, my dad used to say, he used to say the ugly things about, you know, daddy's gonna always say something about it, but Billy always had good potentials. And while he was in law school, I took care of my kids. They were well groomed, but
shining like a new penny.
But nobody knew that we didn't have anything.
Through those years, we ate dinner together, and especially on Saturday mornings, we ate breakfast together. And our children were brought up in the church.
That's the way we were brought up. I was brought up that way.
And we thank God that they are still in the church. We went to New York. We finally found a place. And what a place.
In the heart of Brooklyn.
In the heart of Brooklyn. And then we moved up to Connecticut. We stayed there for a year. For that whole year in Connecticut, Lauretta had a migraine headache. I mean, just constant. I would call home just about every day, asking had they received notice about my bar results. So finally one morning I called. My daddy happened to be at home that morning. And I asked him, y'all heard anything? Did I get a letter about the bar? He said, yeah. I said, I got some bad news. I said, what is it? He said, you passed the bar. We left New York in June of 1970. And we came back home. You have to be the parent, and the child has to be the child.
His parents thought I was really being tough on the kids, but I had to do what I had to do. You know, teach them how to read and grace and scriptures and things like that.
And you've got to stress education early. We did that. And I'll give my wife credit.
You can go to the school, you could be, I have gone to that school plenty of times. They didn't know I was there. That's to look in on those kids to see what they're doing.
They knew that when it was time to go to college, it wasn't no choice. In most instances, we had more than one in at the same time. All in apartments in 3 different cities at the same time. But we knew, and they knew, that they were going to college. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And they all went, and they all succeeded. They all graduated. You're the parent, and you've got to guide and direct that child. And that's what we did. And fortunately, our children have done that with their children. But God was with us. It had to have been God, because we wouldn't have been able to make it. And all 5 of them, they graduated. And we thank God for that.
Never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me, and everybody say with me.
Never would have made it.
Oh.
Never could have made it without you.
First of all, you need to approach it from the standpoint that marriage is a give and take. Nobody can always have their own way. And I think that has been the success of our marriage. One person can't dominate and have a successful marriage. What you say?
I said it's true, but I think now the young people now go into it, how fine he is and how he looks and
how she looks.
And they're not thinking this is somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with. Even though he might look good, now he ain't gonna stay that way, you know, because things are that, everything falls. Whether it goes up or falls down.
Never could have made it without
Both of our parents were married for years. My mother and father was married 52 years at the time. I'm sure that rubbed off on us, if it was nothing but subconsciously. My mother and father never separated. And I don't think your mother and father ever separated.
Never separated.
Those were the 2 couples that we knew that were married for a long, long time.
It's been 50 years now we've been together. Well, we've dated 5 years and we've been married 50 years. So that's 55 years we've been together. It was rough sometimes, but I was in it for the long haul. And he did promise me that when he finished law school that I could go back to school. I did go back to school. I got pregnant with Nikki before I graduated.
Now we got, how many grandchildren?
12.
12 grandchildren.
3 great-great-grand.
Because Dawn's our oldest, but she did not have the first grandchild. Jeffrey provided that first grandchild. Then he provided the second grandchild. Dawn just had 2 children, so we have 2 grandchildren. Jeffrey has 6. Allison has 1. Shirley has 2. And Nikki has 9. The great-grandchildren also came through Lance.
But overall, it was we had a pretty good marriage. I was always the mother that stayed at home, took care of the kids, and took care of everybody else's kids. This house has always been a house for children.
They used to call it the shady rest. I mean, you never knew who was going to be here, how many was going to be here. We'd like to think that we had an influence on some of those children.
So here we are, 50 years ago. I'm still putting up with them.